Hey guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here. Today I'm back with another video. I know I said I'm going to be only uploading two videos, the reaction to Hunter x Hunter and the Moon Knight review, but it came to my attention as I was looking on YouTube. Apparently, Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 83 had dropped out, and I wanted to talk about the chapter and basically do a little synopsis about it. Now, I was kind of thinking of maybe reading it and, just showing the screen, me reading it, but then as I was trying to do that and recording it, I realized that first I stumbled over my words quite a bit. I'm not a bad reader, it's just that sometimes, specific times, like I see words, I just don't read it carefully good enough and then I have to readjust. So it doesn't sound that great. And I didn't even know what the direction to go through. So, I think I'm going to stick through doing it this way. Hold on. I think it's out of focus. Yeah, better now. But yeah, so I thought of doing that way, but then I was like, it's just not working very well. It doesn't seem natural. And maybe if I did it a couple of times, I would have got a hand of it, but I just felt like it didn't feel too well. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, since I already read the manga as a whole, I read it first and I was gonna reread it to you guys so I remembered everything. But then I was like, you know what? As I was doing it, I got like, I think 5 minutes within it and it just didn't look good. So I was like, you know what? I'm scrapping that, forget it. I'm just gonna give you guys a synopsis. I'll probably put up some images from the manga chapter itself and just talk about it as a whole, because reading it and stuff, it's just not for me personally. If you guys want to check somebody like that, go check out Unreal Entertainment Gaming, whatever his name was. Unrealman Gaming. I've watched his channel. I've been watching his channel for years, since 2013. I've been subscribed to his channel since 2013. I love his channel. It's great. So if you guys wanted to go check out one where basically somebody reads it and goes through it very well and does a good voice work for it, go check out his video. It'll be great. It'll be great for you. But if you just want to see somebody talk about it and review it and hear my thoughts about it, then you can check out this video. Now, in this video, I want to talk about this chapter. This manga chapter, the whole thing was basically about Bardock fighting against Gas, and the end of the manga chapter was the end of their battle. And I'm pretty sure the next chapter is just going to go back to Goku, Vegeta, and Minato that are there, that are listening to the fight through his scouter. Now the fight basically started off with Gas and Bardock fighting, and Minato was like, dude, just leave, man, you've done enough, you're good enough, thank you, just leave. And he's like, no, I'm not leaving, because he's like, I'm a saint, I'm not gonna just leave like that. So he gets into a fight with him. He starts to fire an attack at him. He dodges it. He tries to swing his mace and hit him with it. He luckily blocks it, though the spikes do penetrate his arms and it makes him bleed. And he does catch it and toss him over, so they get into a fight. But you can see clearly that Gas is quite a bit stronger than him. He starts kind of pummeling him, and Minato thinks that the best thing he can do is go into his little home area where he put granola, take the Dragon Balls, and basically wish for him to get off his planet, because he's like, well, I could at least use these Dragon Balls to save his life, because he can't win this. And he tries to do it, but he denies it. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not leaving. I'm staying here. I'm a saint. Saints don't run away from their enemies, which is true, and that's perfect. I love that. He shouldn't be running away. That would be a cowardice move. And it kind of reminds me of Goku and the fight against Frieza on Namek, when they try to transport everybody there, and he's like, no, everybody except for me and Frieza. I want to fight Frieza and I want to beat him up. And that's just the same mentality. So it is great that Bardock did that. Is basically what Goku did. So yeah, he's like, no, I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm gonna fight, because it makes sense. Saiyans wouldn't run away. They consider it cowardice to run away from their enemy. They'd rather fight and die. So yeah, he got into this fight with him, and he starts beating him up. He starts showing a bit of his true power, and then he's like, oh, so you can lower your power level without you can rise your power level and lower it up and down. And then he's like, he basically reveals to him, he's like, why the hell would you basically be fine for he's like, I've seen your future, I know you guys are gonna get wiped out and stuff. And Bardock's like, what the hell do you mean? Stop this cryptic shit. And he just starts to fight him and stuff, because he doesn't want to deal with that. And it's interesting that the Heaters knew about Frieza's plan, and the fact that he's basically revealing his plan to Bardock as he's fighting him. But he says, well, you Heaters, your future ends here. So they start fighting. He starts going to his beast form, he starts completely one side beating Bardock. Bardock has a little bit of fight in him, but he can't beat him. He sends him flying back. He's about to throw a spear at him when Naito comes in, takes a spear into his shoulder, and he's like trying to protect him. And he's like, I want to help you out. He holds up Bardock by the throat. Bardock blasts him in the face, and then they get into more of a fight. And then this is where Bardock starts getting the edge. He starts like getting a power boost, starts going off, and starts beating him up. He starts, just punching him around, hitting him around, even though he's in his beast state. And he's throwing shots off. He's firing a big attack against him. And it's crazy to me because from what they said that Gas, when he goes into that form, he has no control. And we saw it in, when he was fighting against Granola and Goku and, Vegeta. But then it makes no sense because now we look at him and he seems to have at least somewhat of a control. Because another one, he couldn't talk. He was just like a feral beast. But this one, he was more like, aggressive and I guess you could say wild, but he still had a consciousness of what he was doing and how he was acting. He could not only talk, but he understood what was happening in the situation. And, Elec comes down to him and saying, oh yeah, you lose control. But from what I saw, he didn't seem to be that out of control. So yeah, he was beating him up, and then Bardock starts pulling the ties, and he's like, "I thought you guys." And because at one point he's beating him up, and he sends him flying into the mountain, and he rips off his tail, and then he's like, "You can't transform to your ape form." But then Bardock starts getting the upper hand and beating him up, and then he's like, "You guys can't ascend in power unless you transform to great ape." It was just like, no, they can. If they train or get Zenkai boost, they can. And obviously Super Saiyan Legend, but he wouldn't know that. But yeah, he started fighting him, and at one point I was like, is Bardock gonna turn Super Saiyan? He doesn't, which it makes sense. He fights him, he starts beating him up, and then Bardock takes control, starts dominating him out of nowhere. He blasts him, he obliterates him, and he defeats him in his beast form and blasts him, knocks him down. And then Elec comes, and he basically... He's like, you need more training. He shoots Bardock. He misses. He's trying to kill him. But then he gets a call and he's like, you know what, I'm just going to leave. He leaves him for dead. When Naito comes there and, they're both on the ground severely hurt and he took out Gas. So basically the fight started off with Gas dominating, going to his beast form, beating his ass even more, completely one-siding him. Then Bardock somehow out of nowhere getting a surge of power and then taking over and beating him and then ending him and getting shot. And, they left. And there's a couple interesting things about this manga. It was kind of long, but there's a couple of interesting things that I saw in this manga chapter. One, how Bardock was acting. The way Bardock was acting, the way he was talking, sounded exactly like Goku. Now, I know this is a Saiyan mentality, but even other Saiyans have different types of mentalities. Because the way, Raditz worked, he was more cowardly. The way Nappa worked, he was more animalistic. The way Vegeta worked, he was more like, sadistic and cruel and like vicious. The way Goku works is he's more honorable and more battle hardened, and he does everything for a fight and for the battle. And the way Bardock was acting was not like Raditz, who was cowardly. He was acting like how Goku does, not only like manly, tough, but also wanting a fight and being honorable about standing his ground. And a lot of the ways he acted reminded me of Goku. I already gave the example of him telling the dragon, saying, no, I don't want to leave, like Goku saying he didn't want to leave. Or also when Purunga was like, hey, I'm going to try to revive him, but then he's like, no, I don't want to leave this place, I want to train, I'll come back when I want to. So yeah, I saw similarities there, and I think the whole point of this chapter is to show that, hey, look, the reason Goku has these personality traits is because he gets from Bardock. This is how the warrior that Bardock was raised. So Goku, since not only he looks like Bardock, he emulates his father even more, instead of just looks, but also personality. Obviously, Bardock is more cruel and maybe more savage, but Goku does have his warrior mentality. So if Bardock was to see Goku, I'm pretty sure he'd be proud of the man his son is, because he's like, even though his son is not the type of person he is, he's still like, wow, well, he's an honorable fighter and stuff. So when people shit on him saying, oh, Goku's crazy, then again, so would be Bardock. So that's just how some Saiyans style is like. Obviously, in general, Saiyans have that battle-hardened mentality, but some are more than others. Goku's more than Vegeta's, but then again, Goku's dad is just like that. So I think that's where he gets it, even though he wasn't raised to be that way. But it's kind of interesting. I do love that aspect that they made them similar, and it makes it interesting because people keep on shitting on Goku, saying, "Oh, he's this and that," but Bardock is the same. It's just the Saiyans. People need to stop being hard on Goku for that stuff. It's like, yeah, at this point, he's basically an addict. Saiyans are literally battle and adrenaline addicts. They can't help it out. Goku has like literally a serious addiction, and nobody's really like try to stop that addiction. Obviously, it's not like other ones like do drugs, but nobody's able to really realize that he has an addiction and can stop it. And at this point, since nobody like stopped it, he's been enabled. Obviously, he's going to keep on falling into the pattern of addiction, even if it puts him in dangerous situations, like putting his life on the line with a hit. But I like that. But one thing that didn't make sense is it was. I kind of like it, but it also doesn't make sense. It was when Elec and Gas were basically telling Bardock about Frieza trying to take out his planet and destroy his planet, the planet's fate. Because in the movie and in the Dragon Ball Minus manga, he was like, "Oh, Frieza's calling us all back. I think he's trying to kill us all." Like out of nowhere, he just got that assumption. And the Bardock father special, like he got psychic power so he could see the future. But in that one, he just assumed and is like, what? His assumption was 100% correct. That seemed like too contrived. And this one, it makes more sense that it was explained to him before. But then again, it doesn't make sense chronologically because he's saying that because he called him back, but he already had information that relied to him, so it makes no sense that he's now assuming based off of this. So yeah, that doesn't really make much sense to me as a whole. I think that didn't really make much sense. The fight wasn't bad, but I think the whole him getting a power boost or getting the upper hand out of nowhere really didn't make any sense either. Like, I did want Bardock to win. People were saying, how's he going to win? I was hoping that he was going to win in a more strategic way, more mental, psychological way, but he just won through regular willpower, and that would have been fine, but it just seems like it came out of nowhere. Like, he just automatically switched from getting completely one-sided beating to obliterating this guy and, like, taking him out with one big blast and, like, knocking him out of his, powerful form. And obviously this is a weaker version of him, but that doesn't matter because from what we saw in the fight alone, he was beating him. Also, the chapter as a whole was just a fight, which is kind of cool, but, like, I'd rather see what's happening right now. So, yeah. But that was basically it for this chapter. I think this chapter has some interesting parts. I don't like the fact that Alec's gun is so strong that it can hurt people like that. Even if they're injured, it shouldn't be hurting characters like that, especially Granola. I thought that was stupid, the gun can do that. I do like the fact that I kind of like and don't like the fact that, they relayed the message to him about the whole Frieza thing. I like it as in a story stuff, but it doesn't make sense, continuity-wise. It's kind of a plot hole. But then again, I didn't like how they did it in that. I think they should have done it this way. This way was better. So, yeah. I like that. This is obviously feels like it's kind of, it kind of retconny. It doesn't change anything really much, but it feels like obviously this was not a part of the story even at that point in time with the Broly film. It's something that Toyotaro and Toriyama thought of way later. So yeah, but I think it was enjoyable. I just want to see now chapter 84. I want to see what does this do to Goku, because everybody's now saying, is this going to change Goku? Is this going to make him different characters? Some people are freaking out saying, oh, hell no, he's going to be different characters. Other people are like, this might be interesting. I think it'll be interesting. Let's see where it's going to take him. What does this unlock in his memories? What does it do to him? What does this give him? But like I said, I did not like the way Bardock got his power up. Hopefully they don't do the same thing for Goku. He just gets a random power boost from stupid things like that. I think that's just kind of a lazy way of doing it. But as a whole, I don't think the chapter was bad. I just think the other previous chapters we had were far better. There's nobody here. I know I'm speaking. But yeah, I think the other episodes were far better. But yeah, this is enjoyable. Once again, I know this is not like Unrealment, channel where he basically reads and stuff. And normally I would like to do that, but I don't know. I just felt like it didn't fit right. So yeah, I think this format's the best. So from now on, when a chapter drops out, I'm gonna just do a review on the chapter and put some images here and there in that video. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed and stay tuned for tomorrow, unless there's something else comes up. Well, bye.